Welcome to the best TV of 2025 so far here on the Intercut podcast channel. I am your co-host, Zachary Shevich, and joining me, pitching Mike White on his idea for White Lotus, Wisconsin, it's Arturo Zurita.
Y'all not ready for that, bro. That's got to be season 5 or something like that. No secret. What stays in Wisconsin should not leave Wisconsin.
We gotta change the state motto. Also with us, The Last of Us to see season 2 of The Last of Us. It's Amanda the Jedi. What is going on, Amanda?
Not too much. Trapped in limbo of travel, but we're here. We're here.
Right, you really do feel like Ellie, sort of just caught in a in-between home, just searching for shelter before you can get to a safe place.
Yes.
And there's zombies outside, which is kind of crazy. But
honestly,
the Wi-Fi works.
There are a lot of people swarming the house doing work, so it kind of feels that way. So
it's the rage virus, you know. They don't even have to be dead anymore.
They don't. It's the worst.
We are just past the halfway point of the year. We are at the beginning of July as we sit down to talk about our favorites of the year so far, as we always do. Starting things off with the best TV of 2025 so far. You know, I feel like in the past when we've done lists like this and discussions like this, there's usually some big show that feels like it's holding on to the title belt, whether that's like a Succession or Shogun, those early seasons of The Bear, even season 1 of Severance. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, but I don't know if there's like a clear dominant TV show right now. Am I wrong? Is it Severance, or is there no one show that's kind of holding the discourse title belt at the moment?
It can't be new. It's got to be reoccurring, right?
Well, saying? I think if a new show sort of captures people's attention, like the way Squid Game did in season 1 and absolutely did not for season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
White Lotus might be the only thing HBO has up. But what you're saying is it needs the waves of it. And a lot of these things come in and they kind of dissipate. Like you would have asked somebody, you're like, wait, I thought that was the end of last year. Wasn't that December? No, it was actually this year. So I feel like that may be one. You had mentioned The Bear. I think it's a better season, but not as much talk as the previous seasons.
They did a bad job marketing it. I only knew it came out because I saw Marjani reviewing episode by episode. And I was like, are these early reviews, Marjani? Right? No, the whole fucking show's out?
Yeah, you can't hop on Hulu and it's the Barbara Walters doc, bro. I need the Bear stat. It should be the first thing.
Yeah, I don't understand.
But, those may be the only ones. I feel like everything else has been reality TV, bro. Love Island count?
Yeah.
Can I throw Love Island on the mix? Like,
honestly, it might be Love Island or its various, international reincarnations or remixes.
Yeah.
Reality definitely tends to
isn't that a recession
take
indicator?
over social.
That may be the one thing we've never included, and if we end up including one, eventually. Now, I'm not saying right now, but I don't think we've ever had reality TV break the top 10 in any of our lists, but
depends on your version of reality. We've got some reality bending shows that might be coming up later on this list. I do think you're right that White Lotus tends to be the one that gets the people talking, although as opposed to a lot of other shows that dominate the discourse in that way, I think there's a lot of debate as to whether or not White Lotus is successful. I'm not sure if we're going to have it on our list.
I am.
Came up short of mine. But I do think the thing that you're also talking about is the further sort of cementing of the idea of the binge-style release as something that is starting to feel a little antiquated in a weird way.
Yeah.
It was cutting edge when Netflix was debuting it, and now we see with shows like The Bear in its 4th season or with Squid Game in its 3rd season that sometimes that binge-style release just doesn't allow enough time for people to keep up to date and catch up and talk about it episode to episode.
There's too much good TV coming out now that when something can just be finished in a day, it's really hard for it to pick up steam unless it's like very dramatic or like based on something else. But even then, like We Were Liars, I was expecting that to be really huge because that book was huge. And I feel like I haven't heard that much about it.
It could be a matter of like doing it for your first season's good because everyone, needs to catch up on it. But then once you do have that fan base, you don't want them to eat it up too fast. You do need that.
3 episodes, like for The Bear, maybe do like 3 episode drops.
And they never have. But Ironheart kind of did. It's like a pseudo binge release where it's like, what, 3 a week? It's already over?
Well, Andor did that as well earlier
Andor
this year.
did
Where
that.
they did three a week. Poker Face came back with 3 episodes at the top and then went back to a weekly thing.
Yeah, it's still going. It doesn't finish till this week or next week.
It just, I
something
guess
like
your
that.
product needs to be good. Your marketing needs to be better, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, always.
Definitely. Amanda, are there any shows that you're upset to have missed? You know, TV is really disparate. You mentioned there's more good TV than ever, it feels like. So are there some shows that you just like didn't necessarily catch enough of even to put on your list?
Not quite. There are a couple that I'm not done yet that have made pretty high on the list because they're so good, and I'm honestly just kind of like savoring the episodes and hoping that they're good enough. But that's what the end of the year list is for, to make your changes. I haven't been able to finish Overcompensating, and I really liked the first episode.
It's goofy,
yeah, and I really liked the trailer I saw for it, so I think that's good. And I did check out that episode of Common Side Effects, which was super interesting, but I just haven't had a chance to continue on that. But for the most part, you know me, my TV's usually fairly tight. You know, I'll stop watching something if it's not doing it for me.
What about you? Are there any shows that you just didn't have the time to get through for this list?
Yeah, they're like Duster, bro. J.J. Abrams coming back with The Boy Sawyer. You know, there's like
Josh
shows
Holloway,
like that where it's like I have not hopped on that train yet. Probably the 3 big ones would be Mobland. I've heard nothing but great things on Paramount Plus for. I think I saw the pilot for that one. Chespirito is like a big Spanish series that's on Max right now. I've been meaning to catch up on that one. And probably the biggest one, if I spoil it for one of you guys, but I believe we talked about this, but we never got to review it, Zach. Netflix's Asura. It is a mini series where it's all directed by Koreeda.
Oh yes, the Koreeda show.
What the fuck? I didn't even know that was a thing. What?
Exactly. So I have not caught up on that one either. They did that one dirty. It just came out. Like the trailer did not even look like it was a style. But it did get a pretty decent reception, just not that much hype. So those would be some of the shows and pilots that I definitely wanted to catch up on.
Damn.
Nice. Yeah, there's always stuff that I am kicking myself for not finding the time to get around to. I think more than any other platform, that it always feels like there's new Apple TV Plus shows debuting that I am just like finding out about way too late.
Yeah.
There is that new show with Owen Wilson called Stick. That looks kind of like a fun coming of age sports drama.
It is, bro.
Okay, cool. Amanda, I know you liked that last Taron Egerton Apple TV Plus show.
Whatever. Blackbird?
Was that
Blackbird.
Blackbird, right.
Yeah.
He did a new show with the same people who made Blackbird called Smoke that I just haven't had a chance to get around to either.
It's crazy. It auto-played? It's crazy.
God damn. That's what I mean. Like, I didn't even hear of any of these. You guys are just mentioning shows, and I'm like... Yeah. I even looked up some, like, best of the years or, like, hidden gems so far, and, like, these haven't shown up.
Dope Thief with my guy Brian Tyree Henry. It's set in Philly, and I just haven't had the time to watch it.
South by
The Boy.
Your Friends and Neighbors, a new show starring John Hamm back on TV. I have not had enough time to watch it.
He robs his friends and his neighbors. It's crazy.
Damn.
I mean, that one's coming back for a second season, so I'll have time to catch up, hopefully.
Good for that.
Forever is a show on Netflix that a bunch of people liked as well. And then there's a limited series that's on FX called Dying for Sex with Michelle Williams.
Great.
That's supposed to be excellent.
Okay. I've been like, I just keep skipping it.
Because she's dying, and then that's when she realizes, like, I'm gonna live my life. And it's her performance. If you don't have someone like her. Yeah. I didn't hear you guys mention Beast Games. Paul American.
Wait, did Paul American release? Oh my god.
It's horrendous, bro. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so mean to each other too. It's terrible.
Yeah. They can't.
I expect nothing less. You mentioned Beast Games though. Did any of us catch season 3 of Squid Game, which just wrapped up?
I haven't even watched season 2.
I don't know why. I was the latest one to season 1, and now I'm completely caught up.
Because it shouldn't have gotten past that.
Well, in a little bit, we will talk about our picks for the best TV of the year so far. But first, make sure you're subscribed to the Intercut podcast, either the video podcast on youtube.com/intercutpod or the audio podcast available on most podcatchers. Also, follow Intercut across social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok. We are at Intercut Pod. That's at Intercut POD, and that is short for podcast. We are also Intercut Pod on Patreon, where you can support the show for as little as $3 per month, or you can do that by clicking the join button below this video if you're watching us on YouTube. While you're doing all that, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, because if we get to 250 5-star reviews on Apple, we'll help you awkwardly rehearse for a deeply personal situation. Would either of you actually use the Fielder method for a life event?
I don't think I could handle it myself. I would get like one step in and being like, I'm so sorry, never mind.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry, never mind.
Look at it this way. You want the Fielder method for something difficult that I don't want to go through once, much less twice.
Yeah.
It's a good point. There is a cousin I haven't spoken to in years that I could definitely use a rehearsal before sitting down with, but might not be a lot of fun, especially with Nathan Fielder opposite you. Anyway, we will get into all that in just a little bit. Let's kick off our 10 best shows of the year so far with Art. You want to get things going?
On FX, there's a show called Adults that, in my opinion, is the other two, which was a reigning contender for Zach and I on this list, and Broad City. I swear it is like the spiritual successor to both of these. It is a group of 20-something adults who live in a house that one of their parents got. Nobody pays rent, and nobody knows how to become an adult. You could say that this is a series where they're all trying to be like socially conscious, and they all think they're woke. They are the worst people possible. It is like Broad City in that sense, where they keep just making mistakes. It is like the other two, where they're calling out all of the different nuances of what we have today. There's one specific scene where one of the characters is going up to a rally because someone got assaulted, so they become like a victim to speak. And they're the only ones who can speak because they have the victim card. She's like, well, I have this card, I have this other card. It is like, it's very absurd. It's very goofy, but I really like the cast. It turns out a lot of the cast I've seen and other things you guys may recognize. One of the dudes is a counselor in...
Theater Camp,
thank you.
Ooh.
One of the funniest ones here. One of the other guys, the one who like is running the house or whose house it is, he was a stand-up comedian. I'd actually seen him in a couple of different like segments. And then the rest of them, I don't know, they just gel very well. I hope there's a season 2. Really funny, really outrageous, out of pocket. It is like it goes all over the place. Very short series. Check it out if you can. Adults.
Cool.
Owen Thiel is the name of that actor that we enjoyed in Theater Camp. Yeah, very, very funny on this show. You know, it's funny because it is like this slice of life comedy for the most part, and then, as you mentioned, it will have these almost fantasy sequence-esque moments where people will pull out a victim card or things will become cartoonish suddenly. Like, the show plays in reality for the most part, but its characters are very stupid when they need to be.
Nice.
Makes it very, very funny.
He goes to get a bank loan, and it's almost like what Zach's saying. It's reality, but it's like how he sees it. He goes, just fill this out. And it says, are you an idiot? He goes, you're right, I shouldn't do this.
Exactly.
I love that.
So yeah, it's a funny show, and it's the kind of show where I'm very curious to see how hopefully the cast kind of grows together as they figure out the funny sort of pairings between the different members of the ensemble.
Nice.
Great cameo so far. They got Daredevil in there for one. Outrageous episode. So
Damn.
pretty good.
Love
Very
that.
nice. All right, Amanda, what do you have at number 10 on your list?
My number 10 on my list is a cheat, technically, and it would be higher up if we were just actually going in order of how much I liked it. But I realized we didn't talk about Shrinking Season 2, probably because of when it came out and when we recorded our Best of the Year video last year. So I'm putting Shrinking Season 2. I'm cheating a little bit, but Shrinking Season 2... I already liked the first season. Season 2 was so much better. I was like, I actually don't understand how this got so much better in certain ways. It was literally like, I watched that, I sat for a minute, I was like, I gotta go back to therapy. And I did. So it's but no, it's like, it's just really good. If you guys aren't familiar, it's the Jason Segel show where he, loses his wife and is a therapist and kind of going through the motions of like just clearly needing his own therapy and how that's affecting how he's doing his work. You got Harrison Ford in a role he actually seems to enjoy playing, which is new for him. I don't know. I'm just really in love with the show, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
I also really love Jessica Williams as another therapist in their office.
So good.
She's so funny. Yeah, I mean, it's just a great sort of workplace dramedy of sorts, and so many of the cast is like so charming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it, but it wrapped its second season at the very end of last year.
Yes.
So a little bit of a holdover, but a good pick for sure.
Got to do it.
All right, so my number 10, I mentioned it very briefly before, but I'm going to go with Poker Face, Season 2, the Natasha Lyonne detective show modeled in the style of Columbo. It's returned. Rian Johnson is no longer the showrunner. Do you guys know Tony Toast?
I felt that he was no longer the showrunner.
Yeah. So if you remember the movie Americana, that we saw at South by Southwest with Sydney Sweeney and Paul Walter Hauser. Exactly, yeah. So the guy who made that, Tony Toast, is now the showrunner of Poker Face. So it maybe doesn't have some of the precise plotting that like a Knives Out-esque Rian Johnson produced show would, but I still think the vibe of the show, the general premise of the show, and Natasha Lyonne as Charlie finding herself, in the middle of these strange circumstances with, this ability to tell truth from lies, like a lie detector. It's a very fun premise. The casts are always great. A lot of my favorite actors just show up out of the blue. It's a great hang. Even if, as you mentioned, you can feel the difference between this and the first season.
You can feel it. I'm not caught up yet. Otherwise, it might be on the list. But it was just kind of like immediately, I was like, something feels like the premise is still really cool, but there's something lacking to like the uniqueness of each episode's story. But
it's just the way that like great stories will come together in a way where it feels both inevitable and hard to see coming. And this season never quite rises to that level, even if they kind of come together in fun ways.
Yeah, that's kind of it's still fun, but it's just not as like, whoa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got a number 5.
You got a number 5.
Really?
You really liked
it. Yeah.
I'm just not done it yet. Maybe I'll like it a lot more once I get through it, but I'm only
My favorite episode is episode 6, Sloppy Joe.
Okay.
So
Nowhere
once
near
you get
that,
to that one,
okay.
I hope it gears into play. What was your favorite cameo or episode, Zach?
I'm always happy to see Sam Richardson show up, but I'm always happy to see Mulaney also. That was a fun episode. In that same episode, Rhea Perlman. Rhea Perlman's great.
Nice.
Aquafina's got a decent one. Specifically,
we like Aquafina here.
Yeah. How it ends.
Since the farewell.
Yeah, no, there's one with a little kid who is like a devil child, and she just wants to have all the stars. That episode, I thought, was hilarious, fantastic, and I think they're doing a great job of showcasing this is going to be on for a while. Oh, there's a baseball episode this season. It's Red Rocket. What's his name?
And, Simon Rex.
Rex.
The boy from Nope.
Brendan Pereira.
That was pretty funny. I still liked it. The one warning I will give, this is why I didn't even know Rian Johnson had left, because he likes to do this as well. Man, they will spoil every classic movie if you haven't seen it. That is the one thing I've noticed in a lot of these episodes. They'll just straight up tell you, this is what happens in this movie. But I still highly recommend it. Zach's got it at 9. I had it cracking my top 5.
Nice. All right, so Poker Face. That's first up on my list. Let's go back to Art for his number 9.
I'm doing kind of an Amanda here in that this one wrapped at the end of the year last year. So I had covered it in terms of the first 4 episodes for part 1. It still has a part 2. Netflix's 100 Years of Solitude. I don't know when part 2 is going to come out. So this is my part 2 of part 1. I'm going to mention it here because I got to finish it. It is an ever-expanding thing, if you've never read the book, of this family from different, not even decades, but generations.
Yeah.
So the first part does a really good job of really setting you in place for the first couple of episodes for this guy who's like founding this town and the gypsies that come in, all the technology they teach them. And then what he goes through and what he's learning is kind of being paralleled later. And there was a movie I saw recently, I'm blanking on what it is, where it was like 4 different women from 4 different periods of time. And it's kind of like that movie that just came out here, where they don't even realize they're doing the same things in the same spot. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what 100 Years of Solitude is going through, in these parallels with these different generations, where they're not just related, they're also kind of going through the same turmoil without even realizing it. Part 2 should come out later this year, so I'm very curious to wrap it all up and see where they take it.
Cool. I'll have to catch up with that one as well. Amanda, what do you have at number 9 on your list?
My number 9 is definitely going to be higher on your lists, I assume, but I finally forced myself to get through the rehearsal. I was like, we're doing this. We're going to have some drinks. We're just going to power
You do not
through.
handle cringe very well, and there is a lot of cringe being offered in the rehearsal.
There's a lot of cringe. It's like there's some kind of cringe I've really kind of like endeared myself to over the years. This was a particular kind. I'm like, it's real though. It's real. But no, he's back with some aviation issues. He's gonna save the world from Boeing. Like I don't know if he's probably gonna turn up dead in a month or something. But
did you enjoy this season more than the first season?
Yes, yeah. But the airline stuff, maybe, I don't know, I watched them back to back and I was just like, I love the audacity of being like, it's like, we're doing airlines? Like, co-pilot safety? What?
Yeah.
So yeah, I assume we'll talk about it more in a bit, but yeah.
Definitely.
Good stuff if you can handle it.
I definitely approve of that pick, The Rehearsal. Number 9 on Amanda's list. Number 9 on my list, I'm going with a show that also could occasionally get pretty cringy, but I really enjoyed Everybody's Live with John Mulaney.
Oh, yes.
The reincarnation of Everybody's in LA with John Mulaney, his short-run talk show. This one, a slightly longer run, 12 episodes. And I think it is just such a delight and such an antidote for the really staid elements of American late night programming. It is a talk show that does not abide by the rules of most late night talk shows. Nobody's there to plug anything. It's not topical at all. It's really just like a very silly hang with lots of very funny people. I think my favorite episode this year was Dinosaurs. Are they put together properly with Conan O'Brien and Io Debris? But just the way that it's really kind of evergreen in its silliness.
Yeah.
I think makes it something that's really fun to return to, and just a thing that will hopefully be able to last. It's got the anarchy of something that I loved in the Chris Gethard show, but with more of like a Netflix prestige and talent pool.
Cool.
So I don't know. I think it's a really excellent formula, and one that makes the most of John Mulaney's talent as sort of like a host and showman. Yeah. I'm hoping it sticks around for quite a while. I'm really enjoying it.
Quick question. Dinosaurs, do they fit together? Is that fossils specifically?
Yeah, like it's sort of like, did they actually know how all these bones go together, or did they just have to throw them together for a museum?
In a period of time, they did have to. I'm sure this is answered. They used to do that, but now they found so many complete ones that they're like, oh shit, that is just how that looks.
They got several calls from actual experts, and I don't think they really cared that much.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. Why would you care?
Yeah, it's a great episode.
I just really like dinosaurs.
Anyway, Art, back to you for your number 8.
I guess going off that topic, the White Lotus season 3. This is
way
probably
higher for me.
The cringiest. Oh, you got it. Okay, this one of the cringiest ones. I thought that you don't have the reoccurring character that was what's her name? She's finally gone.
Yeah, Jennifer
Stifler's
Coolidge.
Mom. Yeah, and I thought they still killed it. They're still able to continue thread lines with like Natasha's character, who I thought had one of the most gripping ones. You have the family dynamic that comes in that I feel like everyone was invested in, even when they take it to the weirdest places that they use as marketing. I think all of it worked, but probably my favorite characters this season would have been the group of the 3 friends. Who was like the actress and then her friends who come in. I thought they had some of the best lines early on, and then they had one of the best speeches towards the end. I still think it was an excellent episode that wraps up in a very crazy way. But like I've seen people begin the series and not end it, and I'm like, no, you want to end it, or like if I spoil it for you, you're gonna be like, I wish I got to that point. I was like, the reveals are interesting.
Yeah.
And it's we see all of these beautiful movies shot in locations, and no one shoots things better than Mike White on an HBO budget.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about it, but I've got it right here in my top 10.
Yeah. It's funny because White Lotus is a show that I often find immensely frustrating, yet there are these moments that are really, really transcendent and are unlike anything that basically any other show is capable of providing us.
Yes.
Yeah. So even though I have a lot of mixed feelings about the show, like I'm really glad is around. I'm
Yeah.
really glad it continues to exist and commands as much attention as it does too.
Yeah, 3.
Absolutely.
Surprise. I know you joked the Dells, bro, but where do you want to see it?
Well, I've heard Mike White is opposed to a cold season, but I'd love a cold season, a ski chalet season.
doesn't
Ooh,
want
that'd be
one?
sick.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because there aren't
supposedly
like
he's so
luxury
good.
resorts and cold places. Well, there are, but like not those types.
I think
of...
he's just not a fan of the cold from the.
So why would you want to be there?
podcast
Yeah,
I've heard.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
He's
I would
on a
love that
Sandman
though.
run, isn't
That
that?
would be a great
That would've
final
been cool.
season.
Right?
Like a final season
sick.
in like
Yeah.
the Swiss Alps or some shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Mike
Yeah.
White, come on. We need white covered mountains. Let's go.
Come on. Yeah.
On the White Lotus.
Yeah.
All right, number 8 on Art's list, White Lotus season 3. Amanda, what do you have at number 8 on your list?
I think for number 8, I'm not quite finished it yet, but I finally caught up with Hacks for the most part. So Hacks
Yes.
season 4. Things are really coming full circle. We've got, she's got her dream job in as a talk show host, but then the flip side is that Ava's the showrunner, something like that, one of the writers. It's just a really solid show. It's really funny, but it's like funny in a way that it manages to like still really hit emotionally, kind of similar to Shrinking, but a little bit still more on the comedy side. And then you're more like, oh wow, this can be very deep. So yeah, Hacks is very strong show. Yeah.
I got it at number 6, so
I assumed it would
agree
be
with you.
higher on somebody's list. Yeah.
I got it at number 5, actually,
Hell
on
yeah.
my list.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we
Take it
all have
away.
Hack season 4.
I was
love
pretty
the
sure.
dynamic. Yeah,
Yes,
no, I
such
think
a
it
good
works
dynamic.
pretty well now that they've like, from being her, I don't want to say understudy, but her writer underneath her.
Yeah, protege
Developing
type
that in
thing.
season
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
3 was like messy because we all thought it was going to be the ending of the show, and then it ends up not being the ending of the show. It ends up being the beginning of like the show finally starting.
Show. Yeah.
Yeah, which is her getting what she's wanted, which is the late night show. But no, there's like in episode 1 where they're at the peak of getting what they both want, and they both hate each other. And they're
Yeah.
taking those pictures together, caressing each other. I was like, yo, you guys are in a pocket right now.
Yeah.
The humor is always going to be there, but it's when they're able to make these very dramatic moments that I think it works very well.
Absolutely. So good.
And it's sort of one of the things that's great about television and being able to return to these characters is I think they brought the characters to perhaps the most interesting place we've seen them in the run of the show. Because as you mentioned, like it was cool seeing that whole protege dynamic and Hannah Einbender's character both learning from the Gene Smart character, but also influencing the Gene Smart character to modernize and see things a bit differently. But I felt like season 3, they hit a little bit of a creative rut, but I really liked where it ended.
Yes.
And they've provided themselves an excellent runway on season 4 where they're these really opposed figures, but they are now playing on a more level playing field and working against the backdrop of late night TV. I just thought that this was some of the best stuff we've gotten from Hacks yet. I thought it was a really excellent season.
Yeah.
Very funny, and also just a show that's willing to take dramatic swings with their characters. It was a huge return to form, in my opinion, season
Totally agree.
4.
Which is always nice to see, especially and
Yeah.
I find sometimes it takes shows so long to get to a return to form that the studio just loses steam. They just cancel. Like I know over on Amazon, I guess Wheel of Time finally picked back up in the 3rd season just to get canceled. So like everybody's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You couldn't even give it like one more go?"
Right.
But I guess Hacks is a lot cheaper to make. So, but no, it's just nice when they like get the opportunity to keep going and like, oh, this is great. You really took the premise and went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So Amanda has Hacks at 8. Art has it at 6. I got it all the way up at 5. But we'll go back to 8 on my list and stick with HBO because I've got the 4th and final season of The Righteous Gemstones.
Ooh, gotta
Danny
catch up.
McBride's long-running show about a family behind a megachurch and the infighting and squabbling and not so churchly behavior that they get up to. I've loved this show for its entire run. I think the 4th season is maybe the weakest dramatically. You can feel them sort of like playing a lot of the hits this year, but ultimately, I think one of the biggest pleasures of the Righteous Gemstones are all the gifts that Danny McBride and his team have given to the English language. Just the way that they put words together in combinations that have never been thought of before they were aired on HBO weekly. It is such a funny show with so many hysterical actors on the cast. Just the things that Edie Patterson has done through 4 seasons that make me laugh uncontrollably. I can't even list how many there are. So even if it is like maybe not the best of the Gemstones, it's still hilarious television. And yeah, it's still worth checking out in its 4th season.
Oh yeah, it's one of those ones I'm like, I need to keep going, and I just keep not doing it. But yeah, not for lack of desire.
When I saw one of the previous seasons when the Jonas Brothers showed up, that's when I knew. I was like, okay, you guys are working on another level.
Yeah, they're in their bag.
Yeah.
All right, so Gemstones, number 8. Let's go to Art's number 7.
American Primeval. It is a show that premiered at Netflix with Betty Gilpin, Taylor Kitsch. It is a Western that takes place in Utah. I think when the Mormons were fighting, like, to take control. So it's this whole bloody massacre war thing that's happening. Very much New Frontier type stuff. I think it's shot very well. I think the acting is very good. Dane DeHaan's in the series as well because it's a miniseries. I think it's a pretty good epic. If you're into a period piece like this, Rise has been getting some allegations right now. So, I don't know if they're doing a part 2 or part 3 on that one. This right here is a very in-depth look at the 1800s and what was happening during this time. So definitely check this one out because Betty Gilpin's always good in the stuff she's in.
She is.
But she is excellent in this one. I think it's very well directed as well.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, the combat on this show is gnarly as hell.
Peter Berg. Peter.
Yeah, they don't shy away from scalpings, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Damn.
All right, American Primeval, number 7 on Art's list. Amanda, you're up next.
This might be higher on someone's list. Maybe I think I'm gonna go with The Studio.
That's a little higher on mine.
A little higher on yours.
Yeah, we can go back to it if you want.
Yeah, we'll just kind of cruise along a bit and get to it.
Yeah, I'm guessing my number 7 is also going to be a little bit higher on somebody else's list. I have Adolescence, the Netflix limited series.
I haven't caught
Honorable
up.
mention. Go, take it away.
Oh.
Take it away.
Art, this comes from a bunch of people you have shouted out before in terms of Stephen Graham and his team who created this show, which is a 4-episode riveting drama on Netflix about a shocking case of violence amongst a couple adolescent children. The first episode is really the creative apex of the series, I think, because it launches you into this world in a way that is so sudden and startling, because it is a raid on a house to arrest a child, like a 13-year-old boy, and the way that it takes you moment by moment through an uncut take of his being processed through the system, and you also coming to terms with the reality of this case and the stakes at play and who is in the right and who's in the wrong. It's just sort of riveting. It's both about the process, but also about the emotional reality of these characters. And I think it just explores these topics in really, really fascinating ways. It confronts these subjects in a way that I don't think I've seen a lot of narrative try to. Yeah, I think just the way that it starts from this inciting incident and just sort of spiderwebs into this fuller picture of a community shocked by an incident of violence. I found it to be really both dramatically compelling and riveting from a production standpoint. Just how well executed each of these 4 shots, because the 4 episodes are each done in a one take, how well executed it all is. It's not like the kind of one take sequences where they're trying super hard and doing really manipulative
flashy,
ways to string together the drama. It feels really natural.
Yeah, like a very interrogate.
I was pretty blown away by this show.
Nice.
I got it at 11. I decided to go with a comedy right before this one. But no, there's one of the episodes that really competes with the Monsters episode, the Menendez brothers. They had that one where it was just on him. And I think the show has a better performance from the kid actor when he's doing his interrogation.
Cool.
But yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, forget the actor's name at the center of it.
Stephen Graham?
The one who plays the teenager.
Owen Cooper?
Oh, yeah, Owen Cooper. They
lock him up.
What a revelation he is, too.
Shit.
Sometimes
Really
you play it
excellent
too
actor.
well, you know?
Yeah.
Already
Sometimes you
picked
gotta
up,
wonder.
right? Wuthering Heights. Our girls'
he's
Wuthering
gonna
Heights
be-
Young
adaptation.
Is he going to
Lordy.
be Heathcliff? He's going to be a young Heathcliff? Yeah?
Young
Yeah.
Heathcliff.
Goddamn Wuthering Heights.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So I got Adolescence at number 7 on my list of the best of the year. Art, you already told us your number 6 is Hacks, season 4. I think we're back to Amanda for her number 6.
This might be higher on your list, but you guys were so excited about this show when we were at South by Southwest, so I had to catch up with The Pit.
Yeah.
I had to catch up with The Pit.
Definitely higher on my list.
Yeah.
I
I'm
have it as an
still a
honorable
couple
mention.
episodes short of being completely done, but this show has no business being as good as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I just think, again, Noah Wiley.
Yes.
Is the main guy. Like, man, how do you go from being like a regular lead on fucking ER to then be in like the new television format type show with another medical drama and it
It's
be
almost
better?
like
And
it's
it'd be
almost
better?
like there's a lawsuit.
It's almost like there's a lawsuit.
Yeah, somebody should litigate about
You're
that.
literally about that, but like, boys have no business being in this many good things, and the show has no business being as good as it is. Just in crazy medical drama, but like, it's really good. It's kind of taken the thing that always used to work on like the network television 24, 26 episode structure and just like really bringing it down to like the strength that we know these streaming service shows can have.
Yeah.
And it pulls it off. Like,
For those who don't know, it's a shift
yes.
going hour by hour.
The Pitt shift, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it's like a combination of ER and 24 in that every episode is just an hour long. But yeah, it really keeps you on the edge of your seat. We'll definitely talk about The Pit a little bit more, but it's a great pick at number 6 for Amanda. My number 6, I'm going to go with The Bear season 4, which I'm guessing is going to show up
It's
a little bit
higher.
higher on a couple of these other lists. So we'll get right back to it. Art, you told us your number 5 is Poker Face season 2.
Watch it.
So
Good.
we're once again back to
Back to
Amanda
me.
for your number 5.
My number 5 is probably higher on someone else's list for sure. I got Severance season 2.
Honorable from me.
Yeah, I got it in the honorable mentions as well.
Okay, cool.
Take it away.
Yeah, I feel like we all might have felt the same. So it's gonna be high just because there's like that one episode, Cold Harbor is like one of the best things I've ever seen. But like my issue with Severance has been that like the last season ended so big that I expected this season to hit the ground running. And it didn't. And I was like,
2.
why did you bring us right back down to
Sophomore
do the
slump.
same fucking thing all over again and then
It's because
build
they
it
want to
right
be
back
Lost.
up?
Zach and I talked
They wanna
about
be-
this, and
they
just like
wanna be-
Lost, they're like, I think season 2 is their word. Let's try to copy that.
Let's try again. Okay. Maybe. It's still incredible
Looks
television.
great.
Some of the best television that I've
Yeah.
ever
Yes.
seen. Some of the, like, one of the most interesting storylines for a television show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I just didn't like that it didn't pick up from where I felt the last season ended. But it's still, I was just expecting it to. I think it's because they want to milk it for as many seasons as they can. So if they hit the ground running too hard in season 2, like
Yeah.
maybe they're going to run out of steam.
That's the thing. I
But-
mean, they somewhat notably started production on season 2 and then stopped to do immense rewrites to sort of refigure out the path they wanted to go down.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I don't know, because when I watched season 1 of Severance, I felt like that was a show that was really about something, right? Like it had actual things to say about the world we live in,
Yes.
and amplified through this sort of science fiction lens. And season 2 felt more like a vibe. It felt more like they are into this idea of obfuscation and making things unclear but mysterious, and these quirky little elements of Lumen that people love so much. And look, like you said, this might be the best looking TV show I've ever seen.
It's
like you can't
incredible. It's
discount the
gorgeous.
production elements.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was sort of swimming in the middle of the ocean for a lot of
Yeah.
season 2, and you don't really know which direction you're supposed to be going in.
Yeah, it didn't help for me that it was premiering at the same time as White Lotus, and for whatever reason, like this was the first season of White Lotus that like I've enjoyed the other ones. This was the one that like grabbed me for whatever reason. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is going to be my special interest until it's done. So I had to I literally just basically was like, I need to wait until White Lotus is done, and then I'll just binge all of Severance in one go, because I do find it works better that way for me to just
Yeah.
watch it all in one go. But yeah, again, there are some highlight scenes in this season. Some of the revelations are huge.
Finale was pretty good.
The finale was good. Some of the questions that it asks in terms of like what it actually means to split yourself in that way and how that relates to like how you relate to other people and love other people. I like a lot of really cool stuff. Again, Cold Harbor is one of the best episodes of television I think I've ever seen. Because it's fucking brutal. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what season 3 ends up being and if they can actually like deliver something and not get caught up in being like, this is the only Apple TV show people care about, so we're just going to keep going forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so Severance, Amanda's number 5. I also said that my number 5 is Hacks. So let's go back to Art for his number 4.
Yeah, my 5 was Poker Face. My 4 is, and I'm flip-flopping between here, but I'm sticking with a recurring one as my number 3. The Pitt was really good. The Pitt was fantastic. I'm gonna wait to talk about it because I believe Zach may have it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who
it might
knows
be his
where
number
it might
one.
stop
That might
right
be his
there.
number
You know what
one.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as soon as we
Stop
came
it.
back from South by, Alina was locked in. She put the Pitt shift in. I was like, bro, you don't have to watch these back to back. We can take a break.
No, sometimes you can't.
Yeah. What was the joke? They were gonna do all 13 hours or something at the actual time in the theater. Yeah, we'll talk more about it once Zach has it as number 1. But it is very good. It is deep. There's so many hospital shows out. There's that other one where I think she forgets like her memory. There's a lot of stuff. Grey's Anatomy season, The Good Doctor, yeah.
Grey's Anatomy season 38.
76. Everything. The Pitt is the best one.
Yeah, so good.
What was that one on Netflix from Pulse?
The
I think?
Residence? Oh,
No, Pulse. That came out like immediately
you,
towards
Pulse.
the end
Right at the same time.
the Pitt's
Yeah.
run.
Hulu had Doc. They had that.
Yeah, none of them
difference.
compete. None of them compete.
Yeah, you
with
see
it.
the difference. You're like, this is Pepsi. No, I ordered a Coke.
All right, so at number 4 on Art's list is The Pitt. Let's go to Amanda for her number 4.
No one is going to be more shocked than me, but enough people talked about it, said it was good, that I had to make my return to Star Wars. I made it through Andor.
Wow.
And it's really good, guys. Like, I knew it was gonna be
I
good.
keep
Everybody
hearing that.
told me it was good. But, like, I didn't want to watch it in the original, like, when it first came out, because I think that was, like, right after the Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff. And I'm like, I'm so done with these people and their bullshit. I was already done, and then they weaseled me back in with some interest. And now, then I was like, no, you've burned these bridges. I'm done. And I don't like Cassian. I didn't really like anybody's character in Rogue One. So I was just like, why do I want to watch an entire show about a guy I didn't like in the movie?
I've heard people split that while this is a great show, they feel it's not Star Wars-y. Do you feel that?
It's not Star Wars-y to its benefit. Normally I'm like, if there's no lightsabers, I don't want to watch it. I don't only want to watch Jedi do Jedi things.
That's funny. That's good.
But no, it's because it's, again, if you like Rogue One, it's basically everything that builds into that. I think they originally had a much longer run planned for like seasons, and then for whatever reason wrapped it in 2. They basically did like every 3
done.
episode. Yeah, every 3 episodes ended up being like a year in the timeline. So I think it was originally supposed to be like 4 or 5 seasons at least, and then they wrapped it in 2. Then it goes right into Rogue One. So it's like...
Yeah, I think Tony Gilroy was talking about how Disney doesn't really believe in streaming anymore. I mean, Mandalorian is going from streaming to movie, right?
Mandalorian fucked itself. But...
I think that might be a consequence of like Bob Iger's shifting priorities.
Yeah,
but
I could see that
It's resulted
for sure.
in a season of television that people seem to be pretty unanimously in favor of.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and again, I haven't seen it, but I wonder if this also just feels like a more adult interpretation of the world of Star Wars, just because it is the show about like rebellion and fascist forces, and I don't know, a little bit less space western.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a show that technically on paper should be something that like all of the like dude bros hate. Because it's like, my politics in my Star Wars. It's called Star Wars, guys. I don't know if you remember the Rebel Alliance from the first movie. And the geopolitics of Phantom Menace. But, like, literally there's Senate meetings in a lot of these movies. But, no, I think the quality's just good enough that it's, like, getting past all that. It doesn't feel like it's pandering to an ideology. It just feels like it's a good expression of an ideology and like what a period in this fictional world would be, but how that would very easily reflect in our current society. They've unintentionally ended up doing a lot of parallels with things that have been going on this year, which they wouldn't have known necessarily to the full extent when they were filming it. So I think it's just it's got evergreen, it's got legs. Andor has legs. So I'm really glad I finally caught up with that and kind of went back to Star Wars, and now I'm done. They said they were going to make Obi-Wan season 2, and I was like, fuck you.
Dropping the Jedi from your name.
I would love to. I would love to. I can't. It's here forever now. Ugh.
This is the one, what's her name from Hitman is in, right? Adria?
Yes.
I think she's the one from Hitman.
Adria Arjona, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I thought that was yet another one, bro. Skeleton Crew isn't this, right?
No, it's not.
No, Skeleton Crew's its own thing. Haven't seen that.
I think that confusion might be part of why they are not doing the streaming strategy anymore. But
yeah, they got like 5 shows. Like,
but that's them. That's their mistake. It's the same reason why the Bear's not getting promoted properly. That's all Disney.
They've got way too much junk. All right, well, that's good to hear. I will one day catch up on Andor.
All right, so Andor is Amanda's number 4.
Is it Amandor?
Amandor. That's what I mean.
Amandor's number 4.
The beauty of my
Amandor
name is that
the
it works
Jedi.
for a lot of things. Yeah.
Especially Star Wars adjacent.
Yes.
Anyway, my number 4 is The Studio, which Amanda mentioned in brief before.
So good.
Art, you still got it on your list?
Who knows how high? It was
Okay, so
who knows?
we can hold off a little bit longer. And before we get into our top 3s, do we have any honorable mentions we want to go through? Art, anything?
For sure. Phineas and Ferb season 5, they're back, bro. The summer is longer than ever. They returned. I don't know where I got Perry's over here.
Oh, Perry's been there.
He's still there. Laid was I'll go through some of the decent ones. It was
That's the Stephanie Shu one on Peacock, right?
Yeah, where every person who she does ends up dying. So she's like doing it. Yeah, she's got some sort of curse. The season ended, and I'm gonna spoil it for you guys. A relative comes back and goes, "Yeah, I suffer from it too."
Damn.
What? Where are we gonna take this? Gets canceled. So now I'm watching the original one from like I don't know when, whatever country did it, to see how they ended theirs, and it's a completely different story. So this is a canceled show.
Damn.
Yeah, gonna leave it out to rest. It sucks.
Hate that
Pixar
shit.
had 2 TV series.
Oh.
Dream Productions and Win or Lose. They were both decent. I don't think they got as much buzz as they should have. They got a lot of preconceived notions coming into it. Oh, what's it going to be about? And they weren't bad. Both of those are out on Disney, just sitting there.
Yeah, no, Win or Lose was the one that got some backlash because they got some,
There was a draft
Disney ended up changing some elements of its like depiction of LGBTQ characters, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's like
Pride Month?
in Pride Month. I don't think they even released. They released that thing in like April or something. But both are decent. They're
the
fine.
precursor to Pride Month?
Yeah. You had mentioned Stick earlier. That's fantastic. I'm gonna add another comedy in there with Tires, season 2. Very good.
That is my number 1 honorable mention. I almost had that number 10 on my list. I'm really enjoying it.
Number 1.
I thought you said number 1. I was like,
No.
whoa, that season 2, those extra episodes. You had talked about Forever earlier. Forever is very
Forever,
good. It's a Judy Blume adaptation that they flipped for modern times. And
Interesting. I'll check
the
it out.
premise being 2 people who kind of knew each other growing up, and as they're about to enter, college and bigger stuff, they end up together, but one of them kind of has a video that's out there, and how that's affected their life. Yeah, and I think they really get into it. Really good performances all around. Forever's one to check out. Mo season 2, I got to see him live this year as well.
Hell yeah.
It's good. Heavy. It's one of those where the subject matter is very heavy, so you're dealing with comedy, and there's no other way I would want to deal with it. But sometimes I don't even want to deal with the matter sometimes. And he's kind of, I think, in that rut as well, where he knows what the character of Mo needs to go through. And sadly, it's not to just have palomas next to the beach. It's immigration and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Severance and then Adolescence.
Cool.
Very nice, very nice. You mentioned The Residents earlier. I enjoyed that show.
It looks good.
Not enough to put in my top 10, but it's
You
a
finished
fun...
it though?
I got about halfway through. But
Who did it?
That's the thing. I still have no idea. But Uzo Buddha's really good on it. Adults, which you had on your 10, I have in my honorable mentions as well. You mentioned Severance, you mentioned The White Lotus, The Last of Us, all shows that I did watch, but I didn't decided not to have in my top 10. Tires, which you mentioned, very funny. Glad that it's they extended the second season, so it's a longer hang, and apparently it's already renewed for a season 3 as well. But they're really getting the ensemble dynamics down in the second season. I think it's really thriving. Nice. I'll also throw a quick shout out to a British show that I only caught a couple episodes of. Taskmaster. It's like one of those.
He went there too.
One of those like British panel comedy shows, cool. But they do all sorts of like weird tasks. Like it's about the comedians like doing strange tasks in a certain amount of time, and they just have a very, very funny collection of people who are good riffing off of each other. But it's one of those shows where if I don't have the brain space to actually pay attention to something, I can throw on Taskmaster and I'll get some good laughs on it. They have a Jason Mantzoukas on the show this year, a rare American crossing the pond and doing that, but he did it apparently because he's just such a fan of the show. So I've been watching it on YouTube. All the episodes are up on YouTube. I would definitely recommend that one. But let's get into the top 3. Art, kick us off. What's number 3 on the best of the TV so far this year?
The Bear season 4 in my top 3. These could move around as well, but I'm putting it there for right now. I think it ends very well. I think we were having the discussion of, is season 4 a great place to end it? Yes. But season 4 also has a lot of through lines, not just in that finale, but some characters who are kind of new who are arriving, and some threads that still need to be closed out. I'm not going to complain for more Bear, but I'm definitely going to get very excited that they were able to find that footing that they didn't have the last time around. I think season 3 was the perfect reception in real life to what the show was going through, in where they really want to focus on the fancy restaurant and not the beef. And in real life, they were like, oh, this is too many montages. Season 3 is way too artsy. Don't focus on the artsy stuff. Focus on the beef. And season 4 kind of did that. They have characters coming back like, oh, no one was paying attention to Abraham, so what was he supposed to do? And a lot of the dynamics and the characters, they're one-offs. Janissa comes in to direct an episode that I thought was pretty good.
Excellent episode. Janissa Bravo, yeah.
Very good episode. And it just continues to look as great as all the other seasons have. Fishes 2.0 is impeccable, in my opinion. It is beautiful. Seeing a lot of the older characters who we got to know in seasons 2 and 3 come back to see how they're dealing with the new generation. Fantastic. I like it. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, they've definitely, worked on the recipe a bit between seasons in a way that I think has benefited the show in its 4th season. And I don't know how much of that is just getting the space to complete the meal, or whether it is like recalibrating and figuring out. Yeah. A lot of it is just certain storylines coming to a close, right? Like we felt like the way season 3 ended wasn't really
like a
conclusive
season.
Note. Yeah, it felt like an incomplete statement. And a lot of those statements feel completed in this 4th season, so that definitely helps it too. But there are these standout episodes that I feel like it would be easier for me to pick out my favorites from season 4 in a way that I wasn't able to in season 3.
Yeah, season 3 just kind of felt like this, like, in a good way, but it's just this artsy, like, full thing of, like exploring the fallout of his, like, PTSD and trauma, and it's, like, really beautiful in so many ways. Yeah. But it was harder to pick out, like, individual.
If the Bear is a song, it was the bridge or something, right? Like, it's a part of it, but it's something that's a little bit different. But yeah, like this, it definitely got back to the chorus in season 4, and it's really excellent. I don't know if I need any more, but I'm not going to say no to another chorus.
Bro, they just introduced Rob freaking Reiner. I need to see where this
That's
goes.
Fair. Yeah, I'm savoring it a little bit. It is somehow higher on my list, even though I'm not done. But it's just kind of like
it's that show. No,
it's that show, and it's like it hits. It's like the way
pilot,
Carmi deals with things. I'm like, it's so me.
Season 4, episode 1. As soon as they bring back, like they heard, season 3 got a little mixed. Quick, get all the Brazados in here. John Bernthal immediately opening scene.
Immediately.
It's very good. It's very
just
good.
that's what I mean. It's still building on a lot of those like emotions that it's set up, but it's just like adding to the complexity, but then also just getting back to what people really enjoyed from the first 2 seasons. I like all Bear is good Bear. Yeah, Molly Gordon.
All good. Molly coming back. I always felt like the audience is very split on her.
I
because
don't
people have
know
the
why.
Well, people have the
They
fan.
have the headcanon. They have
They
the
have the
stupid
headcanon
headcanon.
of Ao, which they have a great scene. I don't know if you're there yet. Ao will directly just go, no.
Good.
She's retelling the story and she just goes,
Thank
no.
God.
It's pretty funny. It's a very fourth wall breaking moment, I thought, when she's retelling a story.
Because nothing in the show ever suggested that was like anything more than like
And it's
a
crazy,
respectful
right?
partnership dynamic.
Exactly. And if you don't have that, then especially the finale here, because you're in tune with it. So you're going to be like, this is like a crazy relationship between these two. Mm-hmm. Because you're not expecting them to smash, you know? Like everybody else wants them to be together. And it's like, if you realized how she sees him, and she does, she opens up about it later on in the season, which I thought was beautiful, really just explains to people what their dynamic is.
Good. People watch so many of these shows,
Everything
like there's
needs to
sports
be
in
a
certain
ship,
ways,
yeah.
and everything has to
that's
be
the
a
goal.
ship. And it's just like, if you like 2 characters, they should be together. And no one wants to think about the reasons why it shouldn't work. It wouldn't be okay for it to work. That it cheapens part of the story. They just want, like, okay, cool, fan fiction exists. Go read your fan fiction. We've been doing it for decades. You'll be okay. Molly Gordon, I never understood why people didn't like Claire. She's a really good character. I don't get it. Everyone was like, she's an annoying bitch. And I'm like, where? Where? She's supportive as fuck.
And even if she was, Molly's serving
Molly
that
Gordon
up probably
can get
too.
away with it. You know, it's fine.
I think it's because they never had like a whole flashback episode just with her.
Fair.
People do need
That's
that
fair.
stuff. Where like we have a lot that we had with her.
Good enough job.
It's
with
also
it being, I don't know.
It's also I think a little bit of classic bad TV fan, where if a character in some way inconveniences the main character, it's like, they're the most evil person. Like what happened to Skylar when people were watching Breaking Bad. Like there's like a small version of that.
Yeah, because even Skylar, technically, I don't agree with the Skylar hate, but that at least made more sense than people not liking Claire, who is just trying to like, I'm sorry, he's not acting like a normal human being. So she's in the right. Like,
and I think they were able to settle that a little bit better this season.
So
I think
far
she's able to come in.
good.
They have a really great scene with her and Io as well. But you have to watch the show for what it is, because then you're missing, what it is. They're more like
That's
a
what I
sports
mean.
team where they're working towards something than it is this relationship, because it's a job.
Exactly.
People date their coworkers more than they date their teammates, I guess. So they see the setting, and all of a sudden it's that. But fantastic
I don't know, man.
all around.
People got to realize that ships ruin everything.
That too. Mama Bear, what's her name? Blinking on her name. Wow. This season.
Jamie Lee
Curtis.
Look, she's not even bombastic. There's just something about this, like she feels like a kettle this season. It doesn't go off, and I thought she was. Dude, she's excellent. She's so good.
Yeah.
Your boy Saul, Better Call Saul. He's just got a couple scenes in here. Fantastic. And always got to shout out the uncle, bro. The uncle is just as great.
You gotta shout out the uncle.
Oliver Platt.
Oliver Platt's so good. And there's a really quick scene where they show you where he's arguing with his kid to get out of the room. And I won't say anything else. And Alina and I just look at each other. We're like, that's how they're just going to show this plot point? He's all in. Everyone's all in.
It's good.
Getting a character to say, am I goofy? I thought was one of my favorite elements of the show. I don't know if you're there yet, Amanda. There's a character that reveals that they're okay, you didn't see it.
Am I
goofy?
Am I goofy?
That's going in.
So good.
I love that clip. And great episode, great relationship. Season 3 of the Bear, or season 4 of the Bear.
Season 4 of the Bear.
3 spot.
Nice.
So good.
Excellent. All right, Amanda, what do you have in number 3 on your list?
This is one that again could go higher but again I'm savoring it. But it's so good. Department Q.
Okay.
By the creator of Queen's Gambit, Scott Frank. This is about an officer that gets kind of relegated as the sole member of a cold case task force, and then just gets this civilian officer type person to help him, and they end up on this cold case about a lawyer that was killed, and it just kind of like systematically gets you in there, and it's like crazy good. It's kind of one of those ones that you look it up and you're like, is that just like one of those like standard television kind of like cop drama type things? But then you're like, oh no, this is like crazy. Like pretty much all you need to know is that it's by the same guy who did Queen's Gambit. And I don't know why it's not getting the push that I guess Queen's Gambit did, because it actually took me a while to realize that this was even out, and that's why I'm not done it yet. But it's crazy good. Really tight writing, really very great directing in the same way that you expect from something like Queen's Gambit. If you like that show, you should like this one, even though the subject matter is completely different, but it's just like that same quality of like writing and filmmaking.
I think Queen's Gambit had a real kind of like cool energy to it, despite being about, like chess and stuff like that. Yeah. And crime shows can go a lot of different ways. Is this also kind of like a very like a cool vibe to it, almost like Soderbergh Black Bag-ish?
Yeah, like that. It's almost more like maybe like, I'm not going to say it's the same, but it kind of almost even maybe like a True Detective kind of vibe, where it's just kind of like things just aren't quite right, and there's a lot of like weird corruption things going on, and just like the general how this person's being treated by the rest of the people in the department. Like again, I'm not going to fully invoke True Detective, but it's just kind of that same kind of gritty vibe of something. Cool. It's just really, really good. Like, you hear Netflix crime show and it can go so many different directions. And this is just more like, no. It's a Scott Frank police show.
Amazing.
Yeah, really good.
Cool. Yeah, that's one that I'm very excited to try and catch up on. So I'll probably be binging that very soon.
Yeah.
Glad you had time for it. Number 3 on your list, Department Q. Number 3 on my list is The Rehearsal Season 2. Art, you still got this one?
Number 2. Wow.
There you go. Okay.
Let's go.
Let's talk about it now. I think Nathan Fielder is a mad genius. And we are lucky that this man chose comedy and not like political lobbying as a career, because who knows how much destruction he could cause with his manipulative tactics.
He would save us all, actually.
He is kind of doing it anyway.
He's lobbying through comedy and cringe.
Yeah. Wow. This is such an incredible season. I think one of the things that's really apt is in the final episode, he talks a bit about his history with magic, how when he was a teenager, he did magic shows and studied magic. Because at times the rehearsal feels less like a comedy and less like a reality show and more like an elaborate David Blaine stunt or something. Like I often find myself not like emotionally moved or laughing my ass off, but just experiencing having my mind blown, thinking, how did he do this? How did he pull this off? It is a feat of production that he's able to organize all these moving elements into this completely singular show that HBO has ludicrously decided to fund. I think it is so funny, but also so like sneakily affecting. I find myself emotionally moved at the end of the episodes out of nowhere so often. It's just incredible. Art, I'm definitely curious to know from your perspective how you feel about this season, because I know you had some qualms with how season 1 went, and I know he addressed those a little bit in season 2.
Yes, he did. He listened. That was good.
I said I wasn't going to work with kids again.
I'm sure we'll talk more about it in depth later on in more of a spoiler capacity, but I thought that was good because, one, it shows that he's tuned in, that he's listening. That's like a big part of this season as well.
In a way that's good, because sometimes you can be tuned in a bad way.
Exactly. And I think he, specifically for that scenario, flips it in a way where what he does now with working with kids is the complete opposite of them being the test subject. He's able to use the rehearsal space in a way where, especially in that episode, when he learns where he's the biggest online, he's able to serve that. There's in film school, you had a lot of things that were movies that the author takes it a certain way, but then they're like, well, you can market this as something else. And if they don't know how to lean into that stuff, then you don't have a movie. Like, whatever movie you make is going to have to be taken out there. So even though he's like really big on like, I didn't make it for this community, the dive in that he does into that community, which you would associate with this man completely, is like Zach said, probably the funniest thing. I don't think I've laughed harder than when he's taking a certain test and he goes, I got it. So people fail this test. Nah, like that is top tier. I don't think he's had a funnier scene than that. And then, like Zach says, out of nowhere, it becomes this like very beautiful, intimate thing. And he's speaking not just for himself, but he's speaking for this community, and he's speaking for these pilots, and he's speaking for people who cannot open up about things in risk of their jobs.
Yeah.
And it's
our
so...
lives. Like,
in our lives
people were
too,
getting
it's
fucking killed, you know?
Yeah, it's so layered in a way where, like Zach's saying, it is a magic trick because what he's trying to do here is capture reality, not to fictionalize it, but to get what people usually only get in fiction, which he says, I can't achieve that stuff. One of the biggest things that a lot of people have is that they can fake being nice, right? There's that exit survey scene where everyone is kind of complaining about him, but not the other lady who's very nice. And he's like, well, I can't be that, and I'm being punished for not being able to be that. But I can create this insane, elaborate thing to maybe get that emotion out of you. I knew it was really cooking when there's a random subplot of these people trying to clone their dog.
Yeah.
And in cloning their dog, they're like, it's just not the same. And then he realizes, well, did you raise it the same? It's like, well, what could that have been? Well, let me read your diaries. You guys fought a lot. And in fighting, the dog will cuddle you the way you want it to. It's like, what?
Or just packaging air from a different part of the country for the dog's wants. I mean, just the absurd lengths he will go to are so ridiculous and fun.
All on HBO's budget. Pilot code? What was that, bro? What was that? Great scenes for a trailer, and then once you see it, you're like, what? We're just doing straight 10 minutes of this? And then the ending, bro. I'll never listen to that song again. The same way?
That we haven't even mentioned Sully Sullenberger's name yet. It's just an incredible season of comedy, but also just so unique too. And circling back to the whole element of autism that gets discussed at some point during the season, like that leads to this amazing sit down with a U.S. congressperson, and I think it's like just as brave as anything that Sacha Baron Cohen does. Yes. Because he goes in and intentionally bombs that interview to prove his point, which is so incredible that he would go to those lengths, jump through that many hoops for the purposes of his art. He is really one of a kind figure. I just hope we get a lot more of whatever is in his brain. I have the Rehearsal at number 3 on my list. Art, you got it at number 2. Amanda, you had it at number 9. And that's speaking very highly because you can't handle cringe well.
Not that kind. Not the real kind.
What can you handle? What's at number 2 on your list?
The Bear. I can't put it any higher until I finish it. My number 1 probably isn't even close to being the best, but I have to put The Bear a number 2 for now, because it speaks to me. I went back through it all recently, and it again felt like it just healed a little piece of me. There's just, certain ways that how Carmy processes like stress and trauma, and just like the rapid images he gets when he's like freaking out. I'm like, I feel that. And it's cool that we're kind of getting this season where it feels like it's still bringing a lot of that over, because it's always been present, and it's bringing in a lot of that beauty of like what they're doing, but then kind of getting back to the roots with like a bit of comedy. Like the first show where he's like puts the timer on the wall being like, how much time is this? It's like 2 months. We have 10 months, 9 months. I feel that. I'm bad at math. I would look at that and be like, that could be 5 years or a month. I don't know. I don't know. I loved it. It was great.
It's great.
So yeah, I just love the energy of The Bear. Like you guys have said, I haven't finished it yet, but I can see how this season could be the final one. But I am happy that we're getting a 5, because I think they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff Carmy's going through definitely hits close to home. I'm glad we'll get to see a little bit more of off-ramp with that stuff. But considering that you have just gone through all of it recently, as you said, I'm curious what you think of whether or not this most recent season might be Ayo Adebri's best. Ooh. I feel like she's really doing some heavy lifting and stellar acting on season 4.
Yeah, I think, it's really good. It's definitely like a highlight for her. There's definitely more of a confidence for her in the character. Like early on, it's the combination of her. You can kind of feel that she's like, holy shit, I just got a pretty big show pretty early on. And then it's really well received. So there's a lot of pressure there. This one, again, feels like it's a good area for her to kind of just like do her, like, what she's known for, you know, comedic wise, but then also do the more serious things that the character requires. So it's definitely really strong for her. This is like, yeah, there's just a confidence there. And I'm sure some of that just comes from like the showrunners having a really clear idea. Cause I'm like, we're talking about how, I can't remember what show you were just, for Nathan Fielder, kind of like seeing the internet and kind of like building on the things. Whoever's working on The Bear, it would have been so easy to be like, holy fuck, we got to pivot. We got to make Carmi and Sydney. We got to make Carmi and Sydney a thing. And it's good they didn't, because it's like, it just doesn't work for the show. And like, I know that Io's been like very clear, but that's not something she agrees with. She's had to very candidly work around that interview. So you just feel like this is a creative team working together in service of a story and the characters versus like what they think the general population wants. But then also adjusting the things that like, yeah, maybe you guys did steer a little bit too hard in a different direction in season 3. And even though I loved it, I loved like the hour-long intro, like opening episode where it's like very procedural. But like, I understand why some people don't want that. And it makes it really fucking hard to justify Jeremy Allen White winning a comedy award. Why are you can't do that. So yeah, no, I think they're really dialed in on what the show should be, where it should go, and how it should end. And that's nice. That's always great. You know, I'm worried about Severance. I'm not worried about The Bear.
Same.
Yeah.
All right. The Bear, number 2 on Amanda's list, number 3 on Arturo's list, and number 6 on mine as well. That might be our collective winner, but we'll see. We still got a couple.
Isn't The Bear almost always our collective like number 1?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple years where it was like The Bear and Succession, pretty neck and neck. But,
Succession. Yeah, of course.
But The Bear is always high up on our lists for reason, for good reason.
Yeah.
Well, The Rehearsal too. Because she's
no, because mine not ever watching it. But yeah, I guess The Rehearsal's pretty high this year too.
And then it goes 3-2 in us. And I think we may have another one.
Maybe.
I think so.
I don't know.
Don't think it's this next one, because my number 2 is Common Side Effects, the Adult Swim show that is streaming on Max. I was thinking about the shows that I really enjoyed this year and the shows that I wanted to revisit. And this is one of the few shows where I've watched the entire season through more than once.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
I found it to be just absolutely thrilling, really expertly plotted, full of really compelling ideas. This is a show about 2 former high school friends who get together again after one discovers a mushroom that can heal almost anything.
Yeah.
And then they suddenly find themselves at the center of a big pharma conspiracy where people are trying to take them out and take out the mushroom with them. It is a really entertaining show because these characters are sort of strange and quirky in ways that you'd expect from kind of like a Mike Judge style comedy, Mike Judge being a producer and voice actor here.
Nice.
But it is also like a real like edge of your seat conspiracy thriller with twists and turns and characters that come in and out of the story in unsuspecting ways. I almost feel like in terms of plot density, it's similar to Invincible, where that's a show that very quickly will cycle through ideas and characters and settings. This is a show that is really not precious about its setups, but I find the visuals to be really, really beautiful. There's some like sequences where they'll take you through like hundreds of years of natural history, and it just all looks really cool. The characters' designs are really cool. I'm really into the world. I think it's a really fun group of characters and setting that they've put the show in. So I'm just enjoying spending time hanging out with these characters, especially the detective, the pair of detectives on the case who are really funny. I enjoy when they just have moments where they sit and listen to music with each other. That's always my favorite bits of the episodes. But yeah, Common Side Effects. I binged it so fast and binged it again a second time because it was that good.
Yeah, if I wasn't dealing with my current hellscape, I would have finished it, but I checked out the first episode because you recommended it, and very good. Very good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Definitely stick with it. I think it's coming back for a second season as well.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
All right, so yeah, Common Side Effects is my number 2, but it's time to get into our choices for number 1 show of the year so far. Art, tell me why you got The Studio at the top of your list.
So funny, dude.
It's so good.
Again,
it should be higher on my list.
Rewatching the studio rehearsal and The Bear. I'm sure things will shift around. I'll even throw in Pitt in there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's those four are very solid. I definitely see these staying till the end of the year. Just how I'm gonna rank them is gonna be interesting. But the studio was a knockout when we got to see it at South by.
Yes.
Just the idea of everybody wants to break the fourth wall. Everybody wants to be meta. But this is a show that felt like it wasn't parodying people. Like, hey, you know, they're funny with it. They were satirical with it. But they felt like actual people. It did not feel like someone who just searched up Letterboxd. It felt like a Letterboxd user in the group. It felt like a real producer.
Which is a distinction. That is a distinction.
Yeah, thoroughly. There's one specific scene that I think really brings it up, in where you have this character of I don't know if you know his name, Seth Rogen's character's name, but he's a producer who thinks that he's more than just like the EP. He's not just the money. He is an artist, and there's a sequence where he actually meets with a real big producer. Thank you, Matt.
Matt Remick, yeah.
During an award show, and it's what's his name from Netflix,
fucking
Ted Sarandos.
Ted Sarandos,
and they're just pissing in the urinal, and he goes, "Don't ever tell the actual artist that you think you're an artist."
Yeah.
The cameos, the plot lines that they go through, all of them are hysterical. I mean, when Martin Scorsese's one of your intro
insane
cameos.
Yeah, you get Scorsese in your pilot. That's like a blessing, you know.
You got Scorsese to turn out for something that wasn't his own movie or daughter. Yeah. Incredible.
No, it's pretty good. Also, I saw his daughter's in a movie, like a movie.
Yeah,
I think like a full feature. So we'll have to bring that up later. But no, just episodes like Missing Real being a flip on the classic Chinatown.
Yeah,
and the Kool-Aid episode just being the most absurd thing of what people would be worrying about in a studio meeting. It's fantastic. I think it sticks the landing all the way through. I know some people were kind of iffy with it towards the end, but I thought it was fantastic, and I'm very curious to see them continue it. But I hope they don't lose out on it, because it's ahead of it now. But I feel like a bunch of parody movies back in the day that could not get the parody movie out before a YouTube video can. Yeah. SNL's always struggling to reach that Saturday before everyone's made the joke.
Megan too shit the bed on that. Like
Megan too a little bit too. Yeah. So it's one of those things. So I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I'm glad you sort of identified that it's not straight parody, right? Like they're satirizing the industry,
satirical cringe.
They're not like really pointing a finger at a specific person or a specific movie or a specific news item ripped from the headlines. It's just sort of the overall vibe of the industry and the way things work. And I think that provides them like endless stuff to pull from.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like they obviously are people who are really immersed in Hollywood in a way that even, our knowledge, they're going to have much deeper understanding of how these things work. So it's just really cool because they both know all the ways in which the studio system fails creatives, but they also clearly love the system in its own way, and have a lot of like adoration for the people involved and the way things happen. I don't know. It's just it's so great that it's simultaneously this big celebration of movies and this big undercutting of the idea of the entertainment industry as anything where people make informed, smart decisions.
Of course. And that's it's beautiful that they can show the dichotomy of those two things so well.
Right?
I'm like, these are both true. Both of these things can be true. Definitely. And it sucks, but
the people in the studio are fans as well, and I think that's what they really showcase. Where it doesn't feel like they're talking to us from behind the scenes. It's like we are you guys behind the scenes as well.
Yeah.
And this is how sometimes things get messed up. The AI stuff.
Fuck AI.
I'll follow you there, but I gotta. If I take the AI deal, what are we talking about? Like
fuck
30
AI,
mil?
nobody could take the deal. Wait, how much do they want to give me?
It's also probably the best looking thing that Seth Rogen has ever produced. I think the episodes are all really dynamic. The way the camera moves, almost akin to like Lubezki's work in Birdman with the one take stuff.
Oh, true. Yeah.
People complaining about that is the funniest thing. It's like, oh my gosh, they gave you 3 scoops of ice cream. What is the complaint other than like, oh, we already had it in Adolescence in here? Yes, it's a style. What are you going to complain about? Close ups next?
Yeah.
It doesn't
and
make
it's also
any sense.
a style that works specifically for the
show.
anxiety it invokes in its characters, right? Like you're trapped in those scenes with the escalating score.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's so excellently done. It's
beautiful.
Rogan is taken to TV really, really well, and I'm glad we're getting more of the studio because it's such a madcap fun show.
For sure.
Shout out Catherine.
It's great.
She's great.
Yeah, excellent cast in that one. So yeah, the studio, Art's number 1, Amanda's number 7, my number 4. 3 thumbs up across the board. Amanda, what do you have at number 1 on your list?
My number 1 is definitely not going to stay my number 1, but I felt like it had to be my number 1 for the first half of the year because it did have a stranglehold on me. The Parker Posey memes got me through a lot this year.
Fantastic, yeah.
It's White Lotus season 3. I don't know. This was, again, like I said earlier, this is the first one that really felt like, oh, I am like in this. The other ones I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is cool. And honestly, rewatching some of the earlier seasons made me appreciate, like for some reason I didn't love season 2 immediately, like it more now. But I don't know, there was something about this season, it just had me from the get-go. Like it was so much, I was like, I can't watch Severance until this is done because my head needs to be totally dedicated to whatever the hell Mike White wants to give me in Thailand. I think, unfortunately, it is one of these shows, I think they filmed a lot more than ended up in the episodes, and sometimes you feel that, not necessarily with abandoned plot points, but stuff that just didn't feel like it went as far as it could have. They already told us that there was like a scene they cut from the finale because it would have made it too long, but then some people were so pissed it wasn't there, but I was like, there was nothing to suggest that ever should have been set up or worked.
Between 2 characters? Yeah, I didn't know where that came from.
Exactly. I'm like,
good for them, but like, I don't know where that was supposed to come from.
And if that is a storyline that logically could have worked if you had done any setup to get us there, but you clearly chose to cut out any earlier interactions, so
it's gotta go too.
It wouldn't have made sense in the finale.
Yeah.
But again, there's so many people, they just want it is honestly, and I wish people would realize it more, it's the same shit that ruins Marvel. It's the same shit that ruins Star Wars. Fans just want things that don't actually make any goddamn sense in the thing they want it. They just want to see it happen. They want to see this character featured. They want to see this cameo. And then suddenly everything's shit slop. So like, stop asking for things you don't actually want and just appreciate what you have. I get some of the complaints for the final season and the final episode. I liked it. I really thought it stuck the landing well. I liked what they did. I think there's some things I would have liked to have seen more of.
I wanted them to go out with the family like that. I wanted them to go all the way through. That would have been crazy. Something should,
and I agree. But I guess I think they probably, that's exactly it. I think they really set it up that you're going to get one kind of death of innocence and you get a different death of innocence that people weren't anticipating, which is interesting. I don't know. I was really moved by that. Like some of the stuff people were the most frustrated by, I was like, I don't know. Unfortunately, sometimes bad things happen to people in shows and that's what makes them interesting. Like La La Land is not memorable because they get together in the end. Like
the complete opposite.
It's the opposite.
That came out of I think it was the animated movie. I don't want to say which one it was. I was like, they La La Land that? We're like, they La La Land that.
Because that's what makes it memorable. That's what makes it something special. That's what makes it something like real and not just it's bittersweet. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But for something like White Lotus, it has to. Yeah. I like the way they kind of continued the through line, even though certain characters are gone. I think they could have done a little bit more interesting there, but I think it was interesting enough. And you never know what they're going to carry over to the next season. So I don't know. White Lotus season 3 worked for me. There might have been a couple lulls towards the end, like the last couple episodes, but I was cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's just for me also very exciting that the show that is sort of like the buzzy, everybody talking about it show isn't necessarily one with a bunch of zombies or a bunch of dragons or whatever, that it is really just like about people on vacation and what happens when you leave people with their brains. Shitty people on vacation. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
White Lotus, are you had it on your list? Yeah, you had it down at number 8 on your list in my honorable mentions, but Amanda's number 1. My number 1 was number 6 on Amanda's list and number 4 on Arturo's. I'm going to go with the Pitt.
Let's go.
I've been thoroughly Pitt-pilled, and it's just like the only thing I care about when it's on TV. Something about this medical drama has become such a comfort show for me, and I'm not sure why, because it frequently is like some of the most stress-inducing sequences you'll see. But there's also just something about the the competence that is on display with every episode that's really comforting. It both is a show about the best and the worst of people, the ways in which people fail and fail themselves and fail each other, and then also the people who are there to try and help us when things are at their worst. And that might be a little bit schmaltzy of a way of thinking about it, but I just think that there is something about how the Pitt navigates that tightrope that is really endearing and uplifting and fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it is because the writing and the cast are all really, really excellent. They've remarkably found just all these pretty fresh faces outside of Noah Wyle. I don't know just about anybody in this cast, but now I would die for them. And I think they're also really great at just articulating the differences between them, in finding nuances in these different people in ways that they feel real and they feel like they're bringing different perspectives. And I don't know, it's just such a really strong collection of melodrama where there's always something happening because there's such a great ensemble. You're always excited to see the next person they bring in. And because it has this unique way of telling the story in that you're just following the Noah Wyle character from the beginning of a shift to an end of a shift. So people and patients that are introduced in 1 hour come back in unexpected ways a couple hours later. Problems that are just hinted at in the early parts of the season become the main focus towards the end of the season. It's just really excellently made television. And I've talked about this so frequently when we do these TV recaps, but like workplace sitcoms, workplace dramas, that's really the heart of television. Like we that's some of the greatest shows ever take place in diving into workplace dynamics, hanging out and developing a whole bunch of people you like to hang out with on TV. And to me, this is like the pinnacle of that type of show. It's just such an excellent hang every week. I'm always anticipating the next one. This is one where I kind of almost wish it was a binge release because I just can't wait 15 weeks to get through the whole season.
Yeah, that's fair.
But luckily, they're already hard at work filming season 2, and apparently it's going to come back in January. So I wouldn't be surprised to see The Pitt showing up on my Best of TV next year list as well, which is another rarity in the modern age of television.
That's wild.
That's true.
Yeah. So The Pitt, The Pitt, White Lotus, and The Studio make up our top 3s, but I did notice none of us had The Last of Us Season 2 in our top 10s.
I
Still haven't watched it.
I still haven't watched it. I'll get there.
Yeah. I don't know. Art, how are you feeling? Did you finish the season or did you hop off the train at some point?
I saw more than half of it and then saw the rest of it with Alina watching it in the background. And I'd tune in and they would just say the dumbest things.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. I think, which one did you see? Because there's one where it's just like, this doesn't even make sense.
No, I had a friend, so like, because I played the game and my friend watched me play that game and was like, they really change Ellie's personality and certain character traits that make it harder to like.
Simple.
So I was like, I hate that because it's giving the people who just hate Bella Ramsey because she's Bella Ramsey or they're Bella Ramsey to like give them that fuel. But it's like, no, they did screw up a point of this character that makes it really hard to understand. Like, I just basically was like, Tyler, just run me through it. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like any of that. That's really bothersome to me because I get that it has a lot of backlash, but I do genuinely think The Last of Us 2 is one of like the greatest pieces, or The Last of Us in general is like this incredible piece of media. And to like, you guys have the fucking blueprint. You can make changes.
Follow it.
Don't ruin the character. That's like the strongest thing is the character work in The Last of Us. What are you doing? It's going to be this weird world where people are just going to like fucking Abby more just because it's Caitlin Dever. Like,
and that's almost kind of like retroactively trying to
did
do
y'all
that
course
because
correct
of a character.
So goddamn hard.
There you go. Course correct the complete opposite way. I have it higher than Silo. The newest season of Silo.
Yeah, no,
the
season 2 of Silo was not good, much. But
I don't think it's the worst, but like separating it from the video game, it still makes you go like, but why is this the route you're going through? There's like a moment where they're like walking around, just like shooting stuff with each other, and I'm like, I don't get this dynamic. The dynamic does not feel like two characters in this apocalyptic world.
Which is a bummer.
It feels like they got the actors talking about our world, and it's like, I don't know.
I hate that.
They're zombies. Come on.
I hate that. That's like, that's one thing I found that the new, like, 28 years later did well. It was like, these are the characters, this is the life they have, and now we're going to, like, go forward with that, and the character is committed to that.
Thoroughly.
So, like, why can't...
That is what 2 is supposed to be.
Yes.
They did it, and then 28 years later was like, I got you, which is so funny because of 28 Days being an inspiration for The Last of Us.
Yes.
Then Alex Garland seeing The Last of Us and going, damn, that's really good. So
I'm going to
then
make variants.
28 years.
I'm going to make variants.
So you know what? If it just continues to one-up each other...
We'll get really good shit. We'll get great shit.
We're going to get an even better one coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all right. It's fine.
I'll get to it.
All right. Why don't we recap our lists? Art, you want to start us off?
For sure. At number 10, I have a comedy that I think people should check out if they like the other two, or Broad City in adult. It's over on FX Hulu. Number 9, I have the Netflix series 100 Years of Solitude Part 1. If you haven't read the book, don't worry about it. They got a miniseries for you. At number 8, The White Lotus Season 3, I think continues to be one of the buzziest shows on television, even with the weird stuff that they went through there. But Carrie Coon demolished every speech she gave.
She did.
Number 7, another Netflix series, American Primeval. I think it's Primeval. So good. It is a perfect period piece type Western stuff. You play a little bit of this, play a little bit of Red Dead Redemption. You're in the mode completely. Hacks Season 4 continues to be really good. I'm almost shocked. I think this is the first time I have Hacks outside of my top 5.
Fair.
I could swap it out with Poker Face a little bit because that's in that's my number 5.
I get it.
Either way, they're in my top 10. Things can shift around. The point is that it's mentioned. And then my top 4. All of these I think are just top TV. 100% staying till the end of the year. The Pitt, The Bear, The Rehearsal, The Studio.
Yeah. Nice.
An excellent run. All right, Amanda.
I put in my number 10 a little bit of a cheat, Shrinking Season 2, because it was not out or done when we did our wrap up last year, and it was such a good season that I needed to mention it here. Then I went with The Rehearsal, which I finally got through in my number 9 spot. Then I got Hacks at number 8, because I really feel like they've just built off that premise and just got even better. The Studio, I have at number 7, which honestly, looking at this now, should be higher, but I watched it before a lot of these new ones, so I think I got some recency bias there. On rewatch, it might end up higher. Then we get The Pitt, which has no business being as good as it is. I hope they win their lawsuit against Michael Crichton's estate. The boy, the guys go after the bad Jurassic Park stuff, because this is fine. Then in the 5th place, we got Severance Season 2. Tentatively optimistic for that to continue going, getting a little bit annoyed of the big build-up and then kill off, and hopefully they don't continue that. Then I got Andor Season 1 and 2, technically. I finally caught up on that. It is actually good. It's worth your time. If you hate Star Wars, it's worth it. If you love Star Wars, it's worth it. In my 3rd spot, I've got Department Q from the creator of Queen's Gambit, which is just so good and gritty, and I hope more people check it out. And number 2, not even done it yet, but The Bear Season 4, because everything... It just works for me. It always works for me. It might end up being in the number 1 spot as we go. And then I had to put White Lotus Season 3 in the number 1 spot because that had a stranglehold on me for 2 months. So that's my 10.
Excellent. As for my list of the best TV of the year so far, I've got Poker Face Season 2 at number 10, the still enjoyable adventures of Natasha Lyonne's bullshit detector. Number 9, I've got Everybody's Live with John Mulaney, a chaotic answer to what's wrong with American late night television. At number 8, I've got The Righteous Gemstones, 4th and final season, and all the hilarious phrases that Danny McBride and his crew have introduced to the English language. Number 7, the absolutely riveting Netflix limited series Adolescence from Stephen Graham's crew. And number 6, the return of the bear in season 4, serving up another great meal. At number 5, I've got Hacks, also in season 4, perhaps their best season yet, as they take on late night. Number 4, I'm going with Seth Rogen's new show, The Studio, a delightful, farcical, behind-the-scenes Hollywood comedy. Number 3, Nathan Fielder's incredible brain on The Rehearsal, Season 2, and all of its takes on aviation safety, a sentence I never thought I would say. Number 2, the excellent animated series Common Side Effects with its big pharma conspiracy theories. And at number 1, the medical drama that just won't quit, The Pitt. I can't quit it. It won't quit. It is the best show I've seen all 2025 so far.
Hell yeah.
All right, so I think that just about does it for our midway 2025 TV catch-up. You can catch more from me, Zach Shevich, by following me across social media at ZShevich. And you can follow my videos at Multiplex Show wherever people find videos. Amanda, where can people find more from you?
You can find me all over the place, but mostly on YouTube at Amanda the Jedi. But those other places, you can also find me at Amanda the Jedi.
Art, where can people find more from you?
LME Movies on most places or every week here on the Intercut podcast.
You can listen to every episode of the Intercut podcast on iTunes, on Spotify, on whatever your favorite podcatcher is. I usually use Overcast. And then make sure you subscribe not just to the audio podcast, but to the video feed as well on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/IntercutPod, where you can watch us list things as we run through the latest in entertainment. Find new episodes of Intercut every Monday, and please leave a comment, like the videos. Consider heading over to iTunes to give us that much requested 5-star review. Shout out to our listeners in Singapore who made us the
telling you, bro. I tell you,
one film review podcast out there.
I tell you every month, bro. The Singaporeans, they got our back.
They lock it down. They got us. Like our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, our X, our TikTok, whatever social media you use, and support our Patreon. You can find all of those at Intercut Pod, and you can find a link on YouTube to become a member as well. Join our Discord page, which you can find a link to in the description of this episode as well. And those are all great places to go to get updates throughout the week from Art, from Amanda, from me, from all the guests that we feature here on Intercut. Thanks so much to Calcendry. Their song Green Lightning is our show intro, and you can find more of their music at a link in our description as well. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, am I goofy?